Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, where we bring classic tales to life. Today, we're diving into a story that has been told for generations. A timeless lesson about cleverness, caution, and the unbreakable bond of family. Get cozy, because we re-about to journey into the woods to visit the wolf and the 7 little goats. Deep in a meadow, right on the edge of a lush, green forest, stood a cozy little cottage. This was the happy home of a mother goat and her 7 adorable little kids. They were her pride and joy, and she loved them more than anything in the world. Their days were filled with laughter, games, and the sweet bleating of happy little goats. One sunny morning, the pantry was looking a bit bare. Mother Goat knew she had to go into the forest to gather some delicious food for her children. Before she left, she gathered all 7 of them around her. "My dearest children," she said, her voice full of love but also a hint of warning, "I must go out to find us some food. While I'm away, you must be very, very careful. Do not, under any circumstances, open the door for anyone." She paused, making sure they were all listening. "The big, bad wolf is always lurking nearby, and if he gets in, he will gobble you all up in one bite. You'll know it's me when I return because I have a gentle voice and soft, white feet. But the wolf," she cautioned, "has a rough, gravelly voice and big, black paws." The little goats all nodded, promising to be good and to remember their mother's words. With a final kiss for each of them, Mother Goat set off, her basket swinging at her side. But they weren't the only ones listening. Hidden behind a thick bush, a sly, old wolf had heard every single word. His stomach rumbled with hunger, and a wicked grin spread across his face. 7 little goats. He muttered to himself, "What a delicious feast that will be." He waited until Mother Goat was out of sight, then crept up to the cottage door. He knocked loudly. K-N-O-K, K-N-O-K, K-N-O-K. "Open the door, my dear children," he called out, trying to sound sweet. "Your mother is back with something tasty for each of you." Inside, the little goats huddled together. They were smart, and they remembered their mother's warning. The voice at the door was not gentle and soft. It was deep and scratchy. "No, no," they cried out. "We won't open the door. Our mother's voice is sweet and lovely, but your voice is rough. You are the wolf." Frustrated, but not defeated, the cunning wolf scurried away with a new plan. He went to the local shopkeeper and bought a large piece of chalk. He nibbled on it, and just as he hoped, it made his voice much softer and higher. Feeling confident, he returned to the cottage and knocked again. This time, he spoke in his new, gentler voice. "Open up, my darlings," he cooed. "Your mother has returned." The voice did sound much more like their mother's, but the cleverest little goats were still suspicious. "Show us your paws under the door so we can be sure it's you," they shouted. The wolf, annoyed but determined, slid his big, black paw into the gap beneath the door. The little goats gasped when they saw it. "No, we will not open up," they declared. "Our mother has soft, white feet, but your paws are black. You are the wolf." Now the wolf was truly furious, but his hunger was even greater than his anger. He raced to the town baker. "Baker! Baker!" he growled. "Cover my paws in white flour, or I'll eat you up." The terrified baker quickly did as he was told, dusting the wolf's big, black paws until they were covered in a thick layer of white flour. For the 3rd time, the wolf returned to the cottage. He knocked on the door. "My sweet children, open the door," he sang in his high, chalky voice. "It's your mother, and I've brought back wonderful treats from the forest. Show us your paws first." The goats called out. The wolf slipped his flour-coated paw under the door. When the little goats saw the white paw and heard the gentle voice, they believed it was finally their dear mother. Overjoyed, they unbolted the lock and threw the door wide open. But standing there wasn't their mother. It was the big, bad wolf, his eyes gleaming with hunger. The poor little goats shrieked in terror and scattered in every direction, trying to hide. One scrambled under the table, another leaped into the bed, a third hid in the stove, a fourth in the kitchen, a fifth in the cupboard, and the sixth hid behind the wash basin. But the wolf was too quick. He found them one by one and, without a second thought, gobbled them whole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All gone. All except one. The very youngest, tiniest little goat had managed to squeeze himself into the tightest hiding spot of all, the grandfather clock case. The wolf, feeling full and satisfied, didn't bother to search any further. He lumbered out of the cottage, his belly swollen and heavy. Not long after, Mother Goat returned home. Her heart sank when she saw the front door swinging open. "My children," she cried, rushing inside. The house was in chaos. Chairs were overturned. Blankets were on the floor. It was a terrible sight. She called out their names, one by one, but there was no answer. She searched everywhere, her fear growing with every passing second. Finally, she called for her youngest. A tiny, muffled whimper came from the grandfather clock. She opened the case, and out tumbled the little goat, trembling and crying. He told his mother everything, how the wolf had tricked them with a soft voice and white paws, and how he had eaten all his brothers and sisters. Mother Goat's sadness quickly turned into a fierce determination. "He won't get away with this," she vowed. Taking her youngest by the hoof, she followed the wolf's tracks. They didn't have to go far. Under a large tree in the meadow, they found the wolf, fast asleep and snoring loudly. His stomach was so full that it looked like a giant, lumpy balloon. As Mother Goat watched him sleep, she noticed something incredible. Something inside his belly was wriggling and kicking. "They're still alive," she whispered with relief. She sent her youngest kid scurrying back to the house to fetch her sewing kit, a needle, thread, and a big pair of scissors. Quiet as a mouse, she crept up to the sleeping wolf. With a steady hand, she made a snip in his tummy and began to cut. One snip, two snips, and pop! The head of one little goat appeared. She cut a little more, and soon all 6 goats tumbled out, one after the other, completely unharmed. Oh, what a joyful reunion! They hugged their mother and each other, overjoyed to be safe. But Mother Goat wasn't finished. "Quickly, my children," she instructed. "Go and find some large, heavy stones." The goats scrambled to the nearby stream and returned, carrying the biggest stones they could manage. Carefully, they filled the wolf's belly with the heavy stones. Then, Mother Goat skillfully sewed the skin back together so neatly that the wolf didn't feel a thing. When the wolf finally woke up, he felt incredibly full and terribly thirsty. "Oh, my stomach," he groaned. "It feels like it's full of rocks." He staggered towards the old well to get a drink, but as he leaned over the edge, the heavy stones in his belly shifted. They pulled him forward, and with a great big splash, the wolf fell headfirst into the well and was never seen again. The 7 little goats and their mother danced with joy around the well. From that day on, they knew to always listen to their mother and to never, ever trust a stranger, no matter how sweet they might sound. Their adventure taught them that with courage, cleverness, and a mother's powerful love, even the biggest, baddest wolf can be outsmarted. And that's the story of the wolf and the 7 little goats. It's a powerful reminder to always be cautious and to trust your instincts. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next adventure. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.